thing here. You're not looking for the majority of sellers out here that would look at this and go, I'm not going to just let you take my home, or I'm not going to be the bank. If I own my home outright for $100,000, I want $100,000 cash in my hand when I sell it. No, we're looking for that group of people that is desperate. There's a lot of ways to find those people. You heard some stories about just like examples here where I just like called up on a sign and whatnot. That can sometimes be the most productive at times if you've got some time on your hands, a little bit of gas in the vehicle. Because if you can just drive around and see some for rent and for sale signs, that works. For sale by owner signs, excuse me. But then once you get all fancy, like the investors that we work with, then you start running advertisements and all sorts of stuff. But you can do this simply by looking for some signs, going on Craigslist. There's a lot of junk on Craigslist, but every so often you'll find a gem. The next thing is you have to have the right paperwork. And that's really where an attorney comes in. You really want to use a real estate attorney. And if you've been to the local real estate club around here, they have attorneys that'll help you with this. You just tell them what you want to do. Say, I want to do a subject to. Can you send me a contract that'll do that here in the state of Florida so I don't get in any trouble? Some of these properties may need a little bit of fix-up. But would that be okay if you didn't have to go get a loan, you could become a homeowner? If you had to do a little bit of paint and carpet, would that be okay? So some of these, and this becomes all clear when you're actually out there doing it, because think about it. Some people are going to want to sell their home and they're not going to deal with a real estate agent. Y'all seen HGTV. You know, when the real estate agent walks in, they're like, oh, yeah, you're going to need to change this, knock out that wall. Yeah, new kitchen, definitely. The sellers don't want to hear that. I mean, when they're tired and they're stressed out and the kids are screaming and they want to sell their home so they can move on with life, and they get a real estate agent walking in there with the high heels and telling them all about what needs to be done, sometimes they get turned off. And if you can just walk up and say, oh, now leave the house a mess, no worries, the dirtier the better, I'll be over there in a minute. Sometimes they're just like, oh, and they just want to sign, they want to get rid of the property, and they don't want to deal with the hassles. That's why sometimes these creative deals, a little bit of cosmetic. Cosmetic is going to be, paint, simple stuff. I'm not talking about major things like plumbing or anything. If you have problems like that, then you have to consider, do you have the money to pay a contractor to go fix those things? And then all of a sudden there's money out of pocket. Here's an important drawback. You're usually not going to get as low of a price as if you paid all cash or you had a loan. Why is that?
Because you're paying for the convenience of paying monthly or however you will.
Yeah, because you're paying for the convenience of not getting a loan. See, if you got a bunch of cash in your hand, you usually can buy things for cheaper, can't you? If you're on the car lot or you're buying an appliance, TV or whatnot, in fact, that's a good way to go buy a TV at Best Buy and other places. You can negotiate those things. Just take out the $100 bills and just start kind of fingering them. Say, I'm looking for a TV today, sir. Can you help me? So if you got cash, you can negotiate lower prices. So you're not necessarily going to get the lowest price. But is that always bad? No. Sometimes it's okay to pay full price so long as you didn't have to go get a loan. And it may require a down payment. There are going to be times where the seller says, okay, I'll let you take over my property, but I'm going to need at least $5,000 for move-out expenses. And I've got a good example of that. We had somebody I teach out in South Dakota, of all places. It was a duplex, and it was rented on both sides for $900, so $1,800 altogether. And is there a marker, Josh? Oh, okay, don't worry about it. So $1,800 a month was coming in, and this owner owed $100,000. And the total payment was like somewhere around $1,100. Bringing in $1,800 a month, and only has to pay $1,100. That's good money, isn't it? $700 a month. Just whether you wake up or not, it shows up. $700. Well, that owner needed $10,000, some gambling debt or something. I guess there's some casinos out South Dakota because of all the American Indians. So, gambling debt problem, needs to get 10 G's fast. And a student had a little bit of money in a retirement account, paid $10,000 to the person, and the person gave him the deed. And so now my student's got a property that's bringing in $700 a month and had to put up $10,000. You see how that worked? So now there's a little bit of an enticement to get them to go ahead and turn over the property. But my students pumped $700 a month. These were long-term tenants. So far, the last year, it's gone perfectly well. They're going to get their $10,000 back in a couple of years, right? And then it's all gravy. And then here's the best